So for the next several days, I would like to revisit, remind, in case you missed it, several past cases that we all are awaiting justice on. And I believe we have 2 trials that may happen in 2025. First off, this video right here, we'll be talking about Kimani, but mainly her father, Darnell Jones. I would also like to talk about Jarvis Butts, and of course that is based on the memory of Naziah Harris. And I would like to talk about Maddie Soto and get some updates on that case as well, and not forgetting about Lori Page. So we have 4 cases that within the next couple days I would like to discuss. So as for this video right here, were there others? In the days before Kimani Lateague went missing and her body would be found in that abandoned, burned-out home in East Toledo, police used a raft of search warrants to gather information for their investigation in her disappearance. While police were zeroing in on her own father, Darnell Jones, they were securing search warrants connected to people close to the case. A review of those search warrants reveal how police went about trying to verify what they were being told by witnesses and potential suspects. On March 21st, 3 days after Kimani was reported missing by her grandmother, Dorothy Lateague, police requested a pair of search warrants for Darnell Jones' Willard Street address, as well as for his cell phone records. Dorothy, Tiara Caston, that's Kimani's mother, Linda Ogletree, that's Darnell's mother, Darnell's cousin, Caleb Jones Dixon, and a resident that Dorothy had living in her home with Kimani when Kimani was alive, and her name is Lisa Wright. I'm going to first talk about Kimani's mother, Tiara Caston. Now, of course, they were going to subpoena, her phone and ask her whereabouts, but it's not much that they stated because we know that Kimani's mother was not in her life. She was in her life occasionally, a few times out the years. And, Kimani was only 13. So she was only in her life a handful of times. And we know that because her sister gave interviews on saying that. We didn't just pull this information out of her ass. This is what the sister said. She has not been in her life. This is also what the mother said. So we have to go with that. But of course, the police have to, figure out things. They're doing an investigation. So that, of course, they had to get her records as well to figure out what was going on. So a day later, Darnell's cousin, Caleb Jones Dixon, was another target on police radar. I need to add, I believe that this is the picture of Caleb. I think he may have deleted his page due to people believing that he may have been a part of this. This picture was put up by an ex, a very mad ex, or I should say disgusted ex, believing that he might be a part of this. So I believe this is him. But I will use this picture to represent him, just in case it may not be. But I do believe that it is him, okay? Jones Dixon, he was seen at the home that Darnell placed him at. He was also admitted himself that he was at that home. So it's like a no-brainer why he, became a suspect. Police requested his phone records and requests for his account on Roadie, which is a software used by delivery companies to track their vehicles and employees. 2 days later, a police requested a search warrant for Jones Dixon's East Broadway Street resident home. Within days, when it came out that Jones Dixon was one of the last people to have seen Kimani alive at her grandmother's North Toledo home, he quickly became a target for the public's suspicion and allegations. He said, quote, "I ain't got nothing to do with that," end quote. Police had searched his residence, impounded his car, and spoke to him for a day. I guess it was like an interview and an interrogation all at once, and he said the police informed him that he was in the clear. In their March 22nd applications for the search warrant pertaining to Jones Dixon, police included details upon which they based their requests, specifically that Kimani called her father, Darnell, and asked him to come by the house. She felt unsafe. Kimani was scared, is what he said. Darnell arrived with his cousin Caleb, that is Caleb Jones Dixon, and stayed with his daughter approximately for an hour, leaving the residence around 12:30 a.m., and that was on March 18th with Jones Dixon. Search warrants go on to describe initial conversations with Jones Dixon, in which the police said he, quote, gave inconsistent statements regarding his time with Darnell and Kimani, end quote. Jones Dixon was unable to provide detectives with an accurate timeline for his whereabouts. So I think maybe that's another reason why he was a suspect to some. I think that maybe he could have been trying to cover up for his cousin. I hope it was before he found out that disgusting sickness that he did to his daughter. I really hope he was just confused and, maybe being vague. But they said that his story was inconsistent with his timeline of where he was. I mean, I guess he didn't think that Darnell could be capable of this. I guess a lot of people didn't think that Darnell would be capable of this. He has another young daughter as well. Jones Dixon says he is tired of the rumors and innuendos circulating on social media about him and others in Kimani's murder. Quote, if we were involved in it, we would be in the same boat as Darnell, end quote. He went on to say he doesn't know what was going on with Granny. He sees everything on social media. They pretend like it isn't affecting us, but it is. And I do vaguely recall on social media, people, I believe, don't quote me on this too much, but I believe that it was the cousin that was saying, like, back in the day when he was younger, that he had some type of sexual situation with a younger cousin and he had apologized. I think it could have been him. So people were trying to involve him in more ways than one when it was involving Kimani. Because I remember people were saying Kimani had all these child molesters around her. All these pedos around her is what they were saying, to be specific. So I do remember a certain situation with that. And his page was up at the time because I was looking at this whole entire more than a paragraph of stuff that he was saying. And I don't know if he uses another name now. I vaguely remember looking at it because I was interested in other things relating to the case than what he was saying at the time. And that was it. But I do really remember that. If you guys remember it, let me know if you guys remember it. Because it was up. It was up. You couldn't miss it. You couldn't miss it. Lisa White is another person who police sought cell phone records for, who lives with Dorothy and Kimani. They listed her as a caretaker. And it was crazy because I was under the impression that when Dorothy went to work, Kimani was just home alone. I mean, she called her a latchkey kid, remember? I thought she was just home alone, and that's just, something that they worked out. But Kimani wasn't home alone. It's just, unfortunately, that night, there probably was other nights too, but that night is going to be the one that sticks out because that is the night that Kimani was abducted from the home. However, Lisa told police that she was not there that night. She was out with a friend. She also said police interviewed her several times that day, the day after, and the following day. She gave up her phone willingly. She has nothing to hide. However, she stayed away from, quote, a number of initial searches, end quote, because it was a lot of hostility that she experienced, she said. The day Kimani came up missing, all of her family was trying to fight me, is what she said. They chased her down the street, and I do believe that, because remember the video of Dorothy at the abandoned house? I have that here too. They wanted to fight her. That day they did. She came to, be part of the people that was standing outside that horrible burned out house, and they wanted to fight her. And they were accusing her right then that she knew what happened. She also said that she did not know Darnell just casually. She didn't know him like that. And as for Darnell, the majority of the warrants were on him and some on Jones Dixon. Darnell had warrants executed on his home, on his phone. Remember? The police secured property, namely a pair of girls' yellow underwear with blue lace that had bloodstains on them, and other girl-type clothing, a plastic mat used in the rear of the red Ford Explorer, and a pair of men's muddy boots. Remember the boots thing? Remember, Kimani's mother thinks that Darnell didn't own a pair of boots. Like, I don't know. Darnell has been in a lot of relationships, so I don't know how long that they continued being together after the birth of their daughter, but you cannot say what was in a man's closet a decade later. You don't know. I don't know what was in any of the past guys that I've dealt with. I have no idea. I can't say, oh no, my first husband, doesn't own a pair of dress shoes. I can't say that. I've never seen him in dress shoes, but I don't know what he's doing now. So it was just kind of weird to me that she was just protesting that he didn't own boots. That was just crazy. Remember, it was Nina Turner, that is Darnell's mother of Darnell's children, who witnessed him rolling up the mat and hiding it, along with those muddy boots, in their underneath the porch by their home on her security footage. So again, kudos to Nina Turner. She could have been like a lot of these women and gathered up those things and rode it 4 hours out of Cleveland and dumped it somewhere where it could never be found. Yeah, women would do something like that. So I'm so glad. And this is her child's father as well. And she probably did love him. But what's right is right. And if he's capable of doing that, he's capable of doing anything. So I'm glad she did what she needed to do. Also, Dorothy had told detectives Kimani's underwear had come up missing after she pointed them out to Darnell. So he's seen them. And this also became concerning. And this is why I guess they gave Darnell a burglary charge as well. Police had in evidence. They seized all this property from Darnell's home: 5 laptops, 4 computer tablets, 3 cell phones, black boots, gray sweatshirt, and a black pistol and ammunition, a swab of a red drop that was on the stairs to the basement, and an ornate knife. And they recovered a hatchet from a 3rd-floor bedroom. Now, as from Linda Ogletree, on March 23rd, police became aware of a recording between Linda and Darnell. Now, a recording, I'm thinking either she spoke to him over the phone or they bugged her home. A recording. So I'm thinking maybe he was incarcerated around that time. I can't remember right now. But they became aware of a recording related to what happened to Kimani. Linda said she knew some of it, but Darnell said that he would tell her at a later date the rest. Linda later denied having contact with her son and stated she knew nothing about what happened to her granddaughter. So if the police do have a recording of Darnell saying a few things that he knew, or basically saying what happened, a few things, and she's now acting like she doesn't know anything, that's kind of ill. That's kind of ill, Linda Ogletree. This is your granddaughter too. That's kind of ill. But that was a little muddy to me, but that is what they're saying. Now, Lieutenant Paul Davis said that the murder case is still ongoing. He refuses to say if any individuals were under scrutiny or if further charges might be forthcoming. Now, we all know that Darnell has a single count of first-degree aggravated burglary. I guess that's for those garments. First-degree kidnapping, first-degree RAPE, and 5th degree of gross abuse of a corpse. I did this video. I found a picture of Kimani that I didn't see before. Now, when I went on Darnell's page when this first happened, I was trying to find any pictures of Kimani. Matter of fact, any kind of mention of Kimani. There was a mention before Kimani's birthday and a mention after. Never on her birthday. I tried to find anything. Nothing at all. It's like he never spoke about her, which was just so crazy to me. And then I went on Nina's page. I'd been on Nina's page, a few times, but not much. But she's tagged in a lot of stuff with Darnell. So I went on her page, and right there, you don't even have to search for it, is a picture of Kimani. I think they're all at a restaurant or something. But Kimani is smiling and she's happy. And that photo was just so, it was nice to see. It was nice to see her out with her half siblings. It was a bittersweet photo, but it was nice to see. A lot of people that was around Kimani, they were very shady people. And I'm not going to blame all of them. We can't blame all of them, though we like to. We can't blame all of them for the RAPE and the death of Kimani. We can't do that. Did they all contribute to it? I'm going to even go as far as to say we can't even do that. There are kids that are very well protected and they go to school, they have great grades, that their father will come along and pick them up and they'll spend the weekends and it'll look like nothing's going on and their father can still do something like this to them. I have many stories on here where that has happened, where it doesn't even think that, men that are fighting for custody of their kids or already have half custody of their kids. And then one day they just decide to do this. It's like, to me, was this always on your mind? It's sickening. And it puts, people can look at men, fathers, in a bad light. They really, really can. I have a girlfriend that I was discussing it with, and she says, yeah, when these fathers fight for their children, we know why now. And that is not true. They're fighting for their children because they want to take care of their children. They believe that they may be able to do better. I don't think that they're doing it for that. The unfortunate thing is I know 3 men. I know 3 men. 2 are black and 1 is a white guy. And they all have custody of their children. The white guy, he has custody of 2 daughters. And it's like, no, it's no essay. It's no weird looks at them. It's nothing. These men have really took care of their kids. And now these kids are grown now. They're like in their late 20s now. Well, I'll say mid to late 20s now. They're older and none of that sickness has ever went on with any of these. And I was always happy that I knew these guys. Because it's like, yeah, men do take care of their kids. They do have full custody of their kids. So, until I get more information on Darnell and Kimani, we're going to keep saying justice for Kimani. I just wanted to let everybody know we're still remembering the story. And hopefully a court date will come up soon, or information on a court date. But this was just in case you missed it, because a lot of people, like I said, are still saying that arrests are due to come. From what I see, I think they got the person that they need.